I'm JJ, 27, and could you just turn to your side real quick?
So when AVB come in,
Did you know that?
What was your view of what happened when the boss left and
A huge shout out to the overthinkers. An overthinker, he watches the show.
To the overthinkers, shout out Buffet too.
All about Fetu, this is Parker, yeah? Thank you, overthinkers.
Keep inspiring the next generation.
Shout out to the overthinkers, Tando Pela. Much love.
To my overthinkers, mamela ubuchopho ngeke buphume buyakhula nizinja nikhokho yazini as overthink siya overachieve.
I'm stealing that. I've stolen that one. I've stolen it.
As overthinking, see, overachiever. Welcome, everybody to the Overthinking Football Show. My name is George Mokwena. I am your host, and this, of course, is the place where we can sit down and talk a little bit of football. Talk about local football, talk about African football, and also every now and then we go overseas to Europe. Now, guys, this, of course, the name of the show is the Overthinking Football Show. So when we speak about topics, we tend to go a little bit deeper and try and look for other meanings, other things that we can glean from whatever we're speaking about. So if you're joining for the first time, the show is on every Monday to Thursday at 7 p.m. Then, of course, if Chiefs, Pirates, Sundowns, Bafana, Banyana, even Banyana style, if any of those teams are playing, I will be here. We'll be watching it live during the watch-along so that I can get your opinions. This show, specifically Monday to Thursday, is an interactive show. It's a show where I want to speak to you guys. I want to hear from you guys, and the way that I hear from you guys is bottom of the screen. If you're on TikTok and following me, there's a button that says multi-guest. Click on that button, I let you in, and we have a conversation about whatever it is we are talking about. Now, let me lay the table for today. Actually, before I do that, let's try to get to, we got to 40,000 likes yesterday. Kopale scream, man. Tap the screen so that we can get to 40,000 again. It is free. Tap the screen. Okay, so the jump off point of this conversation is about rumors of there being a little bit of struggle within Mamelodi Sundowns between coach and players. It seems that some of the more experienced players are not jumping inside, are not jumping on board with what Umangoba wants to do with this team. It seems that there's a little bit of friction. He's come out and spoken out loud about some of the things that are happening. Well, we're going to start there and speak about Mamelodi Sundowns because Mamelodi Sundowns is going through one of the biggest changes that is going to happen at Mamelodi Sundowns, possibly in their history. Mangoba represents the last of the line Yabo Pitso. He represents the last of that coaching line, Pitso, Rulani, and him. And after this, the team is going to have to go in a completely different direction. But the question becomes, when you move in that direction, what are some of the moving parts that you have to look out for? And right now, if you look at Mamelodi Sundowns, they face a very simple problem. Rulani left, they got through whatever they went through, and now Mangoba is coming back to take over. Now there's players that apparently really love Rulani, really love, they're rubbed the wrong way about whatever was happening during that time, and those players might be at odds with Coach Mangoba. The other question is the coaching styles. We know that Rulani like to hold the players' hands, write them notes, do all of those type of things in order to get them in line and create more of a family type of atmosphere. But it seems that Mangoba, at least on the face of it, is somebody who's coming in as an older authoritarian coach who's telling the players what to do, is a little bit harsher, he's changing up the schemes, and maybe they're just not finding each other. Mamelodi Sundowns is also a team where there happens to be a new technical director. Well, he's been there for 2 years. I believe this is the third year. Fleming Berg. And when Fleming Berg comes in, he also has to institute some changes that are different to what old Mamelodi Sundowns is. So I feel like there's a lot of things that are coming to a head here, and I want to have a discussion about that. And to lead us off, let me just play. I want to play 2 clips that maybe can give us a little bit of context of what we're talking about here, and we can use that to fuel our conversation. So here's the first one.
And David Moyes came in.
I was disappointed about many people because no matter for myself.
In the dressing room?
Yes, yeah, they were like many of the players. I won't mention the name. Like, why you protect?
Just let me know if you can hear it properly.
David Moyes, we didn't have like a great relationship like when he signed, because remember he was trying to get Leighton Baines and everything without knowing me. Then we start playing. Then he came one day. He said, "Oh, Patrice, you know, I'm sorry about what you read on the paper. You know, you are amazing. You're doing a fantastic job." I said, "Listen to me. This is not the club of my father. If you bring the best fullback or whatever, I will still play. But this is good for United because I love competition." And he was so in shock. He think like I was like upset with him. I said, "So try to bring him because we need like the best player, you know, to play for Man United." Then what's happened with David Moyes is I feel the player, that's when I say to them, I say, "Okay, guys, so we keep blaming David Moyes, but actually we weren't good. We were just afraid of Sir Alex Ferguson." So even for me, if you bring even the chef, I will be behind and fight for him because I'm fighting for the badge and the fan. Actually, you don't fight for the manager. You can have a good relationship with him, but you fight for the badge and the club. So many players, and the big mistake David Moyes did, it was his first speech. And he said, "Guys, you know to win. So like help me to winning more trophy." So when he said that, you had like player like Chicharito, player like didn't play on the Ferguson or whatever, they start complaining. What's this guy's gonna teach us? And he start also at the preseason in Sydney when he said we're gonna do a stretching on the beach. And the security say, "You can't do that, Dad. You can't do that. You are Man United." He said, "No, it's fine. I'm always doing it with Everton." After 5 minutes, like 100 fans came, the police came, so already the security started to hating him. And I remember sometime I was looking at him at Old Trafford and he was looking around like, when, wow. Willed it. Yeah. But actually I never had any problem with him, and he was like quite stubborn because many times I went to Ferguson house. I said, "Boss, you need to talk with him because many players are not happy." When you were there, even the players weren't playing.
You went to Fergie's house?
They were, many times. What's the problem? You keep saying it's my dad.
Okay, I'm going to stop it there. So that was Patrice Evra speaking about when Moyes took over from Sir Alex Ferguson. And there's a couple of things there that we can speak about where there's an unhappiness of the players. Some players may feel like you're not at the level that they need in order for them to be good. Some players may feel that you're not understanding where the club is. And I think this is something that we can speak to the situation that Coach Mangoba is going through. He was demoted. He was the assistant coach. There was a clear division and maybe a dislike between him and Coach Rulani. Now, when he takes over, and there's those players that are beholden to Coach Rulani, what then happens with the relationship that you have with those guys? How do we view you? Fans as well, and all of those people. So it's very important what is being said here in this instance by Patrice Evra, that maybe there's also that thing, man. Maybe there's a thing that maybe what Rulani had done and all of the hand holding and hugging and all of that has influenced the players. And now he's fighting against somebody that is gone, or the memory of somebody that is gone. That is the first clip. The second clip that I want to play, the short clip that I want to play is this one.
We went to Hong Kong, I think, and so when AVB come in, we went to Hong Kong, I think, and I'm sitting in economy on a 13-hour flight, and we've got Josh McEachran, Nathaniel Chalobah, a couple of other young players, all in first class. And this was part of AVB's going, no player's bigger than me.
Right.
Everyone's the same. So I'm going on the plane going, no, we're not going anywhere until these young players go back in economy and the first team players that have built this club to where we are today go back in first. AVB comes up. What's the problem? I'm going, well, we're not going anywhere until the young players move. And to be fair to the young players, they're going, this JT, it's really uncomfortable, we'll go back. And I'm going, no, it's not your decision. Has to come from, he has to own it. In the end, it spins, so all first team players fly first, younger players go back economy. And he tried to make a statement day one, and he fouled instantly, because I promise you, the plane wasn't going. And if it was going, it would have gone without myself, Frank and Didier.
Okay, so that was John Terry speaking about when Andre Villas-Boas took over at Chelsea. So Andres Villas-Boas was the assistant to Mourinho. He came in and wanted to change the culture. So what Mourinho had built at Chelsea was that, you guys, Terry, Lamps, Didier, you guys are my guys. You're my captains. I give you guys control. I give you all of that. Andre Villas-Boas comes in and he says, you know what, guys, I want everybody to be part of this team. Everybody's going to sacrifice. The young players will sit in first class when we go, and we'll swap and do all of those things. And that caused a lot of a rift, which made the club go away from him, which made the players not trust him and not be on his side, which again maybe is something similar to what we're seeing with Mamelodi Sundowns. And again, guys, it's not that there is a story here. I just want to speak about that thing, that what could be happening at Sundowns right now is one of those things. Mangoba has come in and said, I want to change the formations. I want to change some of the players and their roles. I want to do things differently. He seems to have a different coaching style than Rulani. And those things can affect the relationship between the coach and the players. And how do they respond? And how do you fix those things? So I want to have those two conversations today. And I just wanted to lay the table and say, on the one hand, we're going to speak about when a new coach comes in, how do you get everybody on board? And then secondly, we're going to speak about player power. How important are some of those players, and how do you deal with those situations when those players maybe are not on board? It's not just Coach Mangoba that has gone through this. There's been plenty of PSL coaches that have gone through this throughout the years. So let's have a conversation about that. Remember, if you want to jump in, please, bottom of the screen, there's a button that says multi-guest. Click on that button, but you have to be following me in order to jump in. Let's have this conversation about whether these players are actually with him and what you can do as a coach when you come in. So let's see who is here. Ivan. What is happening? Agent, are you with me?
Yeah, I'm with you, my guy.
Okay, I see something's happening on this side. Agent, how are you doing, my brother?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm okay. We had this chat in the group. This was one of the group chats, guys. If you want to join the WhatsApp group, you can go on over to YouTube, click on subscribe, click on join, and then you'll be able to join the WhatsApp group. We had this conversation almost the whole day. It's a very interesting conversation. Agent, what do you think about this conversation of player power and coaches coming into dressing rooms and how to keep dressing rooms in line?
Let me just start by saying it was an interesting show yesterday. Had the Nahesan Kuduko.
Yo, hey guys.
Nahesan Kuduko. Bolobeto Ipana. In English, they say a jungle without an elephant or a lion. Everyone claims to be the king of the jungle, but you're not there. I think first things first. I think okay, like I said, let me start saying like let me reiterate what you said and say, guys. I think 2 minutes is not enough for sometimes to expand on those points, so sometimes you just skid over the points. So to have an in-depth, analysis and points, it's best to join the group, and yeah. But let me start first before I go to the actual question is, I think before we even look at the coach, before we even go to the coach, we must always look at the players, right? When you look at the players, you must say, are you guys professional enough? What does that say about you? Whether I like my boss or not is neither here or there. I am employed by the company. The company is paying me. I owe the duty to the company to perform to my best of my abilities. Whether I like the boss is neither here or there, right? So if I let my hatred for the boss impact my work, I'm doing a disservice to the company. Same with the players, are doing a disservice to the team and to the fans. It's not about Umangoba, it's not about him. And it says a lot about them that these guys, it means that, they're not professional and they're amateurish, and it's an insult to hard-paying fans to watch such kind of things, right? And again, it also shows that, just by analyzing it, if there are other players who are, like I said, this is just a hypothetical. We're not saying it's like this, we're just saying if it's like this. I don't want to be misquoted, it shows that there were certain players who were preferred not because of their abilities, but because the wife and the kids, when the kids is crying at home, they call rulani things for them and they become happy. And they're choosing because of that. Is it fair on the players who were overlooked? At least with you, you're not being overlooked. You're just being asked to play a different style of play. So I think it's very wrong from the players. I don't want to even go to Umangoba yet and whatever, but it has to go to the players and say it is wrong. It must be stated so. And with Umangoba as a new coach, yes, you're going to implement your what is it called? Your tactics and whatever. I remember when Ragni came to United, I think when they also came to Chelsea, I think Simeone also when he started at Atletico in 2014-13. Those are high, and Liverpool and Klopp also when he came. Those are high intensity managers, right? And you're coming from a school of those where you're playing slow, and those guys all of a sudden want to increase the intensity. There were leaks all over that. The players were complaining about the training. The training is too difficult, and even Ange has seen the same thing, And recently you saw a clip of a Chiefs player. I don't know who it is. I don't follow them like that. But you're saying, hi, when the coach was instructing them, So sometimes before you even go to the coach, the players have to be held accountable. And maybe that's spoiled brats. That's what it is, And if we are paying players and they don't care about Sundowns about the Kuzo, then it shows everything that is wrong with the club. Yeah, but I'll let others speak. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, guys. For those who are wanting to join the WhatsApp group, if you go to YouTube and you subscribe, there's a button on all of the videos when you play them that says join. If you can't find that button, on the TikTok profile, there is a button that says claim, membership. It's in the link. When you click on the link in my profile, there is another link that you click and it will take you directly to the place. It's memberships on YouTube, essentially. Let me go to Chakaranda. Chakaranda, welcome to the show. How are you? Chakaranda, are you with me?
Yeah, I'm here, Mr. Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly. Chakaranda, I'm going to give you 3 minutes. How do you feel about this conversation that we're having about player power and maybe what might be happening at Mamelodi Sundowns?
I think for me, it's. I think the players started reacting when they heard the news about, Mangoba wanting to change the style of play. I think it affected the team, not only us, the supporters, but also the players, because people don't consider that. They say the players must play because they get paid and that. But remember, these guys had a system on how to do things, on how to play, or in everything. And now you are saying to them, don't use that system you've been using. Use another new one, which of they're not comfortable enough to use it, and it might make them to panic, to say, hey, if this system doesn't work now, the supporters are gonna look at us and say, hey, us the players are breaking the team, because of Coach Mangoba has been there for a long time. He's a coach, and we must listen to his instruction. But now we are struggling with this change of philosophy. So I think the players, we need to consider that also the players are getting affected, with this thing of change of system. So I think also lack of motivation. I'm not sure, but Mangoba seems to be a coach that, just gives you instructions and that's it. Yeah. He seems like that guy. He seems like he doesn't, talk to each individual, to improve each individual player, to say, this is what I want to work on. This is, I think he's just looking at him doing better with his own style of play, proving to say, I can form a new style that will work and win games. So unfortunately, it hasn't been that way. I think I cannot say backfired, but I think it hasn't worked that way. I think maybe with time it might get better, because of one thing we can't take away from our team is that we have, individuals that know how to play football. They're just not, average players or what. They know how to play football. So I'm sure after maybe 10 games or 5 games, we'll be adapting to this new system and how we play. But I think he should have introduced it, slowly into the boys, to say, okay, we're starting a new system, but can we at least try and start at the front, at the back? Let's keep it that way, playing the ball, ball position and what. But when we get to the final third, let's try to be more faster, rotating football, rather than taking the ball into the box and always, wanting to have a beautiful goal. Let's try and score goals from. I think if he approached, the philosophy that way, maybe we could be talking another decision. So I think maybe also the pressure of what Rulani achieved, it's also getting under his gate.
Let me go to Dr. Modise. Dr. Modise, welcome to the show. How are you? Dr. Modise, are you with me? Let's see if I can help Dr. Modise there. While we're doing that, 5,900 likes, guys. Let's carry on tapping the screen. We got to 45,000 last night. Let's try to do 50 tonight. Dr. Modise, are you with me?
Hello. Yes, I'm with you.
Welcome. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, man. Long time.
I'm giving you 3 minutes, Dr. Modise. How do you feel about your general thoughts about this topic that we have here?
You know, Coach Mangoba, ne? I disapproved him from Gaga interview telling us about you still remember how he coached Golden Arrows. I mean, that was not the best. They only won what? MTN 8? That's where I've seen Renal Mathatam. When the last time did you see Sundowns? Jodi February under Mangoba Mngithi obeya bolo mo 18 a rahela ko pele. When was the last time we won a Sundowns egala bolo? I've started to support this team from 1986, 1987, around there. This is the worst Sundowns we have. You look, we understand the players, they were close to Rulani and everything. Those are the politics. Yes, we understand that. But me as a supporter, this game Segidi winning under Mangoba now, I don't approve him. Not based on results. Let's forget the results, guys. Based on the style of play. Under against Polokwane City, we looked better because of Polokwane City. They never came to play. And then we met Steve Barker boys, who they were determined to play. God, please help us. I don't know if on a connection, just call Department of Education. There are 2 teachers at Chlorocop there. Papa, man. Let man go by Skolon send us Merco in Skolon and Steve Compella Merco in Skolo. Leave our Sundowns. Get someone, management of Sundowns is something before 3 minutes. I fail.
Yeah.
You still remember there were rumors about the late screamer Chavalala who interfered. May his soul rest in peace. But now people are afraid because of it's a white man at Sundowns to say this guy interferes. When Rulani Mokwena and Berg were fighting, there were rumors that if in a game here semi-final ya CAF, Berg told Rulani that don't put Tembazwane. And Rulani started to fight. Yes, bus coach. No. Look, we are not type ya go konopa batho ka dilo ko stadium, and it's not what we condone. But if management of Sundowns doesn't fix this, or every day ke go media go dilo ntsa so ka ke tla bona ba re Sundowns and Mangoba departed, make a blue whatever ka English ya lona e tonna e. A gone mo ba re Mangoba o tsamaile. Abuti. This is simple. Actually, results. MTN 80 are palla. Even after the best coaches there in Nile and from Pitso Mosimane to Rulani Mokwena, MTN 8 we fail. But let us fail with our style, with dignity. Sundowns are hella ball. When the last time to do one Sundowns are galaga the wing play, recross a ball. This is not Sundowns. Mangoba Mnit must just be a assistant coach is good there. This Steve Compella is good as assistant coach. Sundowns management, Pitso Mosimane black. He's unemployed now. Let them for the sake of us supporters. Let them swallow their pride leading to a court. Maybe call Pitso Mosimane. And even the greatest Pitso Mosimane, I don't think he'll reach the level of Rulani Mokwena. As Mudimu Pitso Mosimane said it before that Rulani is much better than him. We were the only 3 teams in the world to play the chameleon football. Only 3. Now we've came back to the level of the PSL.
Okay.
Let us forget about the bad way.
For time's sake, I'm gonna come back. You mentioned a couple of things that I want to ask everybody about. Let me go to Stefana. Stefana, unjan pram.
I feel the pain. I feel the pain at the hotel.
You guys 3 minutes. We were about what we're speaking about today.
I'm gonna speak about the last game, and then it's a summarize and get about Mangoba. For the first time, I saw about how bad they are coached. Those guys from Sundowns. I mean, the last game where they lost 1-0 from Stellenbosch, it was supposed to be 4 or 5 during the first half, because it's like Mangoba tells these boys to say, I'm going to know what you are ball. Go out there and do what you know. So Mangoba, I think, was another as an we made to those players. Mangoba want to be angazi. It's trying to prove a point to Rulani. Yet wasaba the position on Pitso left. Or preferred the co-coaching thing. Because if Mangoba Ben is been, he was supposed to take over from Pitso. But wasaba and Rulani Oban is been. What you mean I can do this job? And he did a marvelous job, even though that team was coached by Rulani. Because Rulani uhambile 3 games, but I didn't. So now you cannot be bafana if you listen to Mangoba we meet. Mangoba is thinking he's a angazi ngale MTN 80 ayodwa wena arrows dal. Which is this coaching man, because every time when you speak we're referring to that MTN 80 he won. He even lies and said he was the first person to win that MTN 8 what. So now I think good bafana feel attitude which mean I'm big and this is not Rulani now, it's me. We cannot do that to those boys. Because now for the first time I saw Motaung engazi ukuthi wenzani egroundini mokwena. I mean I trust those boys. I mean now abazi kwenzakalani, like abana coach. Urula umanqoba and Steve together with khoza, they must leave. Even though I'm happy ukuthi kwenzakalani, but ngokwebhola those guys must leave. Beyocoacha namateam amancane. Sometimes must get the coach. Umanqoba is uyayibulala their team le. They can be in denial abanye abana the Sundowns and thinking ukuthi khona sazowenza. Ayikho sazokwenzeka lapha. Umanqoba is killing these boys. Baqala isizini uzobona ne Chiefs ivukela kubo because ayikho into abayidlalayo. There's nothing. Angina coach lapha akho lutho. So umanqoba those boys akunalutho nje, there's nothing.
Okay. Let me go to Zamuhle. Zamuhle, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you guys?
Hi man, hey, Simnandi. Tell me, Zamuhle, what are your thoughts generally about lento esikhuluma manje with coaches and big player power and about dressing room and all of that stuff?
I ziyakhala zikula speak. Ikhala now 9. Ngisawakhumbula lawa mazwi ka coach Rulani when he was interviewed and he said those words. And now those words are coming to a reality. We need something that is so-called football philosophy. A certain way of style, a certain way of play. So sikubonile kwenzeka under coach Rulani and Sundowns was amazing. Sundowns it's a ball positioning team. They like to dominate. They are bossy. They are aggressive. They are taking numbers. They defend in numbers. They put their blood and sweat on the field. But now we've seen a very, very different Sundowns. I was the first one to say this, and many people attacked me on Facebook. I told the media that Coach Manqoba won't be successful at Sundowns. First of all, his mentality is too small for a team like Sundowns. Secondly, his style of play. Mamelodi Sundowns has improved a lot in terms of how they play, in terms of the players they sign. It's all about quality and consistency. So, ucoach Manqoba usabeliever kuleya 4-4-1 leya long balls. Omshishi bazothintana nebhola if Sundowns izoba nama long balls. Too many long balls. Secondly, they don't want to be bossy at the midfield. They don't want to dominate midfield. They want Abamdao to overlap too much. About closing she side the one. Coach Rulani close the side the one, avule side the one. Close the side the one, avule side the one. Ama technique indlela nje technique yakhe nje ayisebenzisa ku Sundowns akusiyona indlela eSundowns yokudlala. And if Sundowns izoqhubeka idlale kanje this season, we're gonna see a second Kaizer Chiefs. I'm telling you, same thing will happen. Okwesibili Mr. Banbek lo wakhona weMamelodi Sundowns is interfering, is causing a riot lapho kweMamelodi Sundowns. He's the cause of all of this. He's the cause of all of this because Coach Rulani made some few errors, but he was successful. He was dominant. His style of play suited Mamelodi Sundowns. He put Mamelodi Sundowns on top, even reaching finals. So Manqoba is not that coach of that kind of caliber who can make sure that Mamelodi Sundowns is bossy. Secondly, the way Mamelodi Sundowns signed players, they need two center backs. I'm telling you. Musa Lebusa is getting old. How long has Musa Lebusa been on Mamelodi Sundowns? How long?
Okay. For time's sake, man, I'm gonna come back. Let me let in Madame Kutso. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Lizofakaza ibhakabhaka lingena uzofakaza indaba ezibuhlungu sikhala nani bafethu akwehlanga olungehlanga sithi duma sandawana.
Madame Kutso, uyibona njani indaba yena? How do you rationalize this whole conversation?
Mr. Uti, if we're being honest, I always say to you, people don't care about results.
Yeah.
I mean, people don't care about anything. They only care about results.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, as long as you win, you're a magician. Should you lose, you're a problem. I understand that, Mr. Uti. Someone said Sundowns is failing to dominate. You check possession stats. First game, Sundowns had 76 possession and Stellenbosch had 23. Is it 24? Yeah, 24. Are you telling me Sundowns were not dominating the ball with such possession? And to claim that Sundowns has been playing out from the keeper is unimaginable. They only did that last season when Ronan Williams came. And to pretend as if Sundowns, when they won those 2 league titles after Coach Pitso, were playing that chameleon football, is also criminal. Sundowns played a different brand of football, which also states that Coach Mangoba was in charge when they won those 2 league titles. Yes, he prefers to refer to Golden Arrows. However, it's proven, Mr. Oti, when you look at when Coach Rulani took over, certain players were dropped, like Abo Andile Chali, preferred for Mokwena. And you know what? The fact that Andile Mokwena is one of my favorite players, I've proven it over and over again. But the fact that Andile Chali was dropped for Mokwena, there's a goal in Stellenbosch, Mr. Oti, or it's an attack in Stellenbosch, where Mokwena is not even putting up a fight, Mr. Oti. That is match fixing. That is not Kana King, a proper goal. That is match fixing. He fixed that match. And what these players are forgetting is that they are playing for Sundowns. They are not playing for, respectfully, Kaizer Chiefs. They are not playing for even Orlando Pirates. But actually, I'll exclude Pirates in this example. They are playing for a team that can actually buy another starting 11. What they're doing, they don't know that this team that they are playing for will not only opt to fire the coach, they can actually fire the entire starting 11. You understand that, Mr. Oti? So what Mokwena are doing, he risk enkulu gabi, and his spectrum Sundowns when it comes to signing players has broadened Kakulu, Mr. Oti. They can even go overseas. You understand? For me, what I found disturbing was Oteboho Mokwena walking, Mr. Oti, not even putting up a fight. One of the best to ever do it in the game. Behave in that manner while wearing a jersey of one of the best teams in the country. Do you think you can justify that, Mr. Oti? And again, if you think Mangoba's methods are not working, put them to the test. Show us that you applied what Mangoba said and it did not work. Don't sabotage it when and say it does not work. Show us why it does not work. Apply yourself 100% and then show us with Yazin it did not work, this thing.
Yeah.
We tried. Coach Mangoba said down the line, we went down the... People, Coach Pitso Rutuan, Mr. Oti. Yes, he shares the ball occasionally, but we all know Kamapilat is revered for his first touch. He is revered for his first touch because Sompokekana would drop deep and hoy a nice long ball. And Kamapilat would kill it. Today we are being told Sundowns doesn't kick the ball forward. Sundowns. We've been watching Sundowns for a very long time, Mr. Oti. People okay. You understand, Mr. Oti? What I'm seeing is resistance from players. And if Jody February, and Mr. Oti, let's be honest, Ronan Williams is one of a kind. Even I remember the Moroccan coach saying Ronan Williams relaxes. He said these Spanish terms. The way Ronan Williams relaxes, it's amazing. He gives bafana an element of relaxer when they are pressing them. Because Ronan no press Mr. Oti, he will not. You force to turn down my phone. He passed last shot, but playing a long ball, I find now. So now, if you know, I'm a goalkeeper. We've seen our Senzo Meiwa, may soul rest in peace. We've seen even our Kuni, but may some Apollo because we are by a press. Now you want to put Jody February, who has his confidence low, in that position.
I wanna jump in just there, Malumekuto, for time. Okay, guys, thank you. 16K. Let's carry on tapping. If you have not followed, please follow. Monday to Thursday, we are here. Agent, it feels like, man, this conversation, it feels like Mangoba is battling the ghost of past coaches. He's battling, what Rulani had done and what Rulani had brought, and maybe the relationship he had with those guys. There's Pitso being mentioned now. There's all of that stuff. Did management make a mistake in bringing in Manqoba instead of maybe going in a completely new direction? Number one. And then number two, I want to ask you a broader question about player power. These Mamelodi Sundowns players, Bo Mokwena, Bo Williams, and those guys, let's say, if they are making a noise, do they deserve a say? Because in that clip that I had played about John Terry, he did say at the end that, we built this thing. So you can't now come and disrespect us, the people who had built this. So those are the two questions. The politics at Sundowns, we knew about it. It always existed. Did they make a mistake in bringing Manqoba in? And then secondly, should the players have a say, especially those ones that are important to what Sundowns has been in the past few years?
Sometimes I always say, don't always say things that at the end of the day when you ask what do they mean, we begin to, but anyways. Someone said empires don't collapse, they dilapidate over time. Actually, that's not true, and actually that's not factually incorrect. And I always see it being thrown around. It doesn't happen. As people or students of history will tell you that empires will always collapse because a more powerful enemy always attacks them, or because of the division inside it, one that causes mutiny and scrutiny, and that's what causes the empire to collapse. And there's always a barbaric force that has to come in, either inside or outside, to cause the empire to collapse. So it's not that they deplete over time because of itself, it is because of internal or external pressure, but it's just a free lesson in history. I just wanted to say, let's not quote things that I said and take them as a gospel truth. But the thing is, first things first, you can never win. You can never win, Sham. You can never win with regards to is Manqoba the right person. You can never win the argument. First thing, the argument has been, guys, we can't win the CAF Champions League. Why are we failing to win the Champions League? Our style of play is not suited to win the Champions League. The Champions League football teams win ugly. It has been a constant cry that, guys, maybe we need to sacrifice it. And Coach Rulani came and said, I can't do that. And eventually he had to yield in because he saw the situation on the ground that actually I might have to sacrifice my principles. Right? So for the longest of times, the Sundowns fans are saying we need to find a way to win the Champions League. So when a coach is coming in to say, maybe this is how I'm gonna try and win the Champions League, because he said it himself. He said the expectation of Sundowns is not to win cups, not to win the league. Those are given. The expectation is to win the league now. We're at that point, So he knows that we need to win the Champions League. Whether it was too early to implement the style of play or not, I feel like it was wrong. He could have just, let's just get through the cup and then in the league and experiment that. But either way, it had to happen as early as now. More so that we're going to the Club World Cup. In the Club World Cup, we're going to be playing more superior teams. When playing against more superior teams, you can't play with tiki-taka. They want to destroy you. There is a concept, I'm forgetting the actual name for it. I hope one day I'll call it. The English Premier League is way faster than you see it, right? But it appears slow. It's a how do they call it? It's an illusion, because sometimes you see a Van Dijk holding the ball and trying to pass, and you think that motion is slow. It's an illusion because all the players are fast, he's fast, so they cancel each other out, and you see that, oh man, actually, it's not that fast. But when they play against the lesser side, you see how fast they are. If you look at Fluminense, was it Fluminense or one of the Brazilian teams, when playing against Man City, they tried playing from the back and they was destroyed, because the speed is way faster than you anticipate, so we have to play a way or find a way that, yes, in the PSL you can play with tiki-taka, but you have to find a way when you compete against the higher levels. How do we do it? Unless we're going to CAF and the World Cup to honor fixtures like Chiefs will be doing in PSL. That's fine. You can do that, But again, it's fine. I've moved on that. So we played the race card, and that's the last point. We played the race card on Umangoba and said, Umlungu, he shouldn't come in and bring in those European coaches. He shouldn't do that. Mangoba has been there. He deserves to be given the chance. We need to give him a black chance. You need continuity. That's what always been the Sundowns way. We played that thing out. You played that thing out. So now let's bear the fruit of, I think the management, to be honest and fair with you, the way they phrase that statement, they were looking at an outside coach. But they were saying, you know what? There's a lot happening right now. Let's just continue with Mangoba, just to stabilize the ship. Now, on player power, no, you don't have the final say, unfortunately. Whose head gets hanged first is the coach. You never see players or the management. Sometimes I even laugh at Chiefs not throwing sticks at Bobby, but he's responsible. It's the coach who gets things thrown at. So he has to come in and say, I have to do things this way, and players are what is it called? Are components, they're computers, they're a program. You tell them, do this, and 1 + 1 = 2. And 2 + 2 = 4. They're not the ones that have to do themselves. Otherwise, they'll be coaches. Otherwise, there'll be no need of coaches because good players can just play themselves. So the coach has to have the final say. He has to decide what works and decide what doesn't work. At the end of the day, it is a slide on the block. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to ask, there's one thing that I want to ask very quickly. Guys, I will let other people in. I just want to deal with the first panel. Jacaranda, politics have existed at Sundowns. We saw with Rulani and Coach Mangoba not getting along. Publicly, there's been things that have been said. There's things that have leaked. We saw that Mangoba was demoted. We saw maybe that there's a split in the team. Was it smart for management to bring Mangoba back with all of that baggage? And what do you think that's going to play out as? And then number two, should players who have been there, who have won things, who have led the team, be allowed to have a say on things that are happening?
Amapagania siwafuni ngapha asifuni amapagania ipagania malphume. Yeah, Mr. OT, I think let me start with the second question first.
Yeah,
I think when they appointed Mangoba, maybe they thought because of Mangoba has been there, or he has been with Coach Rulani, Coach Pitso, and obviously being the interim coach and the co-coach with Rulani again. I think they wanted to play it safe, to say, yes, Rulani left. What is the best decision to do for us as management? So the best decision is to take Coach Mangoba because of it's gonna work in their favor with the experience that he has. I think maybe also with them, I think they were also surprised with how Mangoba handled the whole thing. I had Mr. One agent said, Mangoba has been playing this style of football, for a long time. But now he played it with what kind of a team? You can't compare Golden Arrows and Mamelodi Sundowns now. In the 100% that we played like maybe 80% of what we were playing. Only 20% we used to play helicopter football and wingers and what. But most of the time, 80% of our football, it's keeping the ball, playing with midfielders, playing from the back. So for me, I think the team played it safe to say, let's get this guy because he's been there for 10 years. He's been the assistant coach for two of our best coaches. So why not play it safe and give him the job? Maybe even if he doesn't do a great job, then we can demote him again and not fire him. To say, we gave you an opportunity to be a head coach, you did not do well, come back and be an assistant coach. And the first question, what was the first question again?
No, the first question was management's role. The second question was about players. Should the players be allowed to have a say in these things, especially those that have been part of the success of Sundowns, at least recently?
I think it's fair for them to have a say. because they're also playing for the badge. You know, I think it's fair to hear their emotions. What do they think? You know, because we might sit here, but if the players are not happy, we're not gonna get better football. Even if we get other players and find that those players we are getting, they are also not happy. You see, so we're not gonna play the football that we want as long we have unhappy players. So our players, even if they are not, the Mangoba doesn't treat them like Rulani. But at the end of the day, they need to be happy. We are not saying he must hug them, kiss them, give them love letters and what. No, but we are saying there need to be a bond between the coach and players. You know, the players need to know that, you know, I did a mistake. I can go to my coach and say I did a mistake. For me, it seems like Mangoba is one of those coaches that says, if you did a mistake, I'm going to bench you and put another player. You know, I'm not going to say, okay. And he doesn't seem like a coach that protects the players.
For time's sake, let me go to Dr. Mdise. Dr. Mdise, same two questions. Did management make a mistake bringing in Mangoba? Even as convenient as it looked, there's a lot of history there that might get in the way. And then number two, should players be allowed a voice at the table, or at least be a part of the discussions when these things happen, when coaches are moved on and new coaches are brought in?
Yeah, you know, at first, I thought they didn't make a mistake. You know, at first, I mean, we were talking about a guy who had 11 years Sundowns. So I thought, no, continuation, we are still on. But now, after these 3 games, yes, they made a west decision. You know, we're not talking about domination. I would kuto the like, hey, we're 70%. We don't talk about domination. We talk about the style of play. You know, the style of play, the team that even if they change the gear and you give them the Kaizer Chiefs gear, you will come and say, but this Kaizer Chiefs play like Sundowns. We are not playing like Sundowns. You know, that's what let's forget the results. I've said it. Let's forget the results. Yes, the players should have a say. Pitso used to say, no, you need to keep the dressing room quiet by these players. Those players, Tembas One has been there for what? For long. So, the guys have a say. Those are the guys when you set up a team. Sometimes you call them, what do you think? As they've been there. But all we are saying, as Mamelodi Sundowns supporters, we are saying, let's play our football. You know? Coaches come, but the core was, we played the shushan and piano of the late Skrima Chabalala. And then coaches came and put it to another level. And then Rulani Mokwena came and put it to the highest level. We thought Mangoba will maintain that because of he have been there for long. But instead, Mangoba dropped us to the level of Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates. I mean, Orlando Pirates, they just, they make noise because of MTN 8 and Nedbank. Whereas Mamelodi Sundowns, Nina gap at 23 points. We don't want to be more leveling at the team with it. We don't want to be happy or we name 10-8. That's a bonus. Renarnyaga League, Renarnyaga Champions League, but ka play arena. Baba sa utsosa mapagania, but kuja ska utsosa. Klapa ya Botswana ya munisa soon. Anyway, unfortunately, not this year. Pirates because of we have dropped. We have dropped to the level of the PSL. We were among the best malefatsing the whole world, but now we have dropped leveling up Pirates. And now that's why mapagania babonora manjas ngono asngabazama babu buavar bagarzama no. That's what we are complaining about. Mangoba, go back to Kamukorulani Benzagala. Asiri buara Rulani or from level 3 arisa to level 10. But foundation ilarona shushan and piano. It was the first time in Nervona. Wait about. It was the first time in South Africa. Rabona Motaung position 3 Mudiba. I cannot drop her to go and play as number 6. It was the first time. We're happy to see that. Now we have one back to God. Anyway, before time. I thank you. Good night. Something is about to say somewhere. I wish never gonna now. Domination will always dominate because of the cream of the cream ya talent. Ribuaka style of play.
Let me go to Stepana. Yazi, Mina, I'm not even wanting to come at this from direction, from the direction of saying that Mangoba maybe is a bad coach. But how do you think people will react? Let's say ama fans will react kanjani if lo muntu nimtimotile now promoter food. Secondly, now coach who did well nimkhiphile mbuyisa lona. Thirdly, ama player bamthanda lo muntu bamthandile strong, but bekhona umuntu right there bebalwa together there. Was this the right decision for management to bring in Coach Mangoba, knowing the politics and all of that already exists around Mangoba? And then secondly, I'm a players. If I'm an important player, if I'm Chembazwani, should I not be able to come to the table or at least be asked, hey, we want to Lendaba, who do you think about? What do you think about the coaching situation? All of that type of thing.
Before nje ngiphendule udokotela ngathi uphuze yena i-medication namhlanje ubhizi ukhuluma ngathi manje ngabulungisa indaba zakubo akasiyeke udokotela bakwethu simshayele time sayibona ngo-cream de la cream simbonye 2 times wazwa sayishintsha leya formation yama-coaching manje udokotela ngazi uthini ukuthi they have dropped to the level bebewina iligi kuphela labantu laba kodwa kasikho lapho kwesila I think Sundowns when they promoted Umangoba, they were not making a mistake because he has been there. And obey part from Pitso, Urulani figure again and all the stuff, yabo. So now OT if unabantu bohle nabo kudala ikhona. Very some promoter lo muntu lo because very uyayazi yonke into eyenzakala ekhaya, understand? Umangoba the only mistake Umangoba egcine sey mistake eSundowns now. Umangoba uthathe lekhanda lakhe leli wafuna ukulenza wafuna ukuzenza akafunanga ukuthi labafana ba-addresse kahle the way addressa ngakhona kwimini labafana wafuna ukuba promote njengamanje kukhalisa isikathulo la. You can see the body language of Mokwena. If you saw the press conference, Mokwena was sitting next to him and he was speaking, Mokwena was laughing because akuzwene the attitude afike nayo labafana laba iyona is uzibulala yena lo. Akunamuntu Sundowns did not make a mistake but Umangoba made a mistake by trying to be big kulabafana laba. Ubaprovela a point of which asazi ukuthi ilona le people abaprovela because he has been an assistant coach all these years. He has never won anything as a coach. He has been an assistant coach and he has been a co-coach. Urulani wa manage ukuthi abe nesibindi I'm going to be a coach wazimela eyedwa baba ama assistant. So now uzenza umuntu omkhulu labafana laba they are not happy about Umangoba. And they are showing it, they are not happy about him. And you can never, OT, mufuna uthi sizwane kahle, uzongibullisha. He's bullying those boys, this guy. It's like the first time Joe was saying, Mangoba with the coach, like, say, njengamanje khalisa isikathulo la. Indaba ukuthi wena uThembazwane ayisebenzi like him. I'm gonna do these things my way. That's how you can see about Williams. When they come back now, they'll just look at him and say, long because they are not happy with this guy. It's not like Sundowns did not make a mistake. They were promoting him because very they trust him. He has been there all these years. But in Awenzani, you're supposed to win something first. If he was smart, this league, the season there, the whole season with these boys, I present again. Then I can a team next season. But now how is he gonna do that? Because the boys are showing him. This project can get him fired anytime. Because he has shown them ukuthi yena mina ngizange ukuzodlala la mina ngizokwenza ngendlela yami lento ukuthi nithanda urulani over mina sizokubona ke lokho and they are showing him because uvele waba big headed ngokuthola ipromotion nyana nje ukuthi use head coach uvele waba big and walanda worst people landa abo Steve Gombele akufundiswa singisi lapha ya kudlala ibhola ulanda abo Fohloza I understand ukuthi if it was his idea kulanda abo Fohloza or uFleming Beck uthi ndoda landa lo muntu lo. You understand? So now, Umangoba Shema.
Okay. Let me go to Uzamugutle. Uzamugutle, same questions. Did they make a mistake promoting Coach Mangoba with the history? And then secondly, should players be allowed to be, should the big players or the important players be consulted, let's say, when changes are being made?
Yeah, Sundowns they made a huge mistake ngokuthi babuyise Umangoba Mnqatsi back ukuthi azoba coach futhi. If I'm not mistaken, he was also given a chance some few years back when he was playing Orlando Pirates, M108. He talks a lot with media. He said many things. Lo baba is so hot-headed ngale ndlela ukuthi ukhanda lomtshelo kwakhe ngesizulu. Baba bakaphikiswa. And wakhuluma those fancy words, washo many things about the Pirates, indlela edlala ngayo, how he is gonna dominate it, and I'm 3-1. Home and away. And we couldn't believe. Secondly, I truly do believe ukuthi ama players who asenesikhathi eside khona eteamini njengabozwane itayi njenganabo mokwena, they deserve a chance ukuthi nabo babe nawo umbono abawubeka in terms of ubani ozoqashwa abo coach. And also I think style of play se-team isona esidecidayo ukuthi what kind of a coach do you need ukuthi azocoacha eteamini yakho yabo. So uManqoba Mngqithi bakwethu has been given a chance. He failed dismally. And inkinga yakhe njengoba uke wayisho lento ulokhuzana lapha ezantsi ibhakana yile lebesezantsi. uManqoba Mngqithi indlela addressa ngayo ipress is very wrong. Indlela atheka ngayo ama-fans is very wrong. Indlela atheka ngayo i-media is very wrong. Why yena if a coach he's been there for 11 years to 12 years akazafundi anything yena ukuthi you address ama-team ngendlela ehlukile. Uyabo. Ngizokwenzela nje i-example encane before ngiyeka. Uyabona i-attitude yama-players e-Sundowns is the same attitude naye abanikeza yona. Yabo? So yena uyi-dictator, ufuna ukusho izinto zenzeke, akafuna ukuboniseka at some point. Because if ubheka isitayela sikaFohloza sokudlala, asisiboni kwi-Sundowns. Siyamazi uFohloza uthanda ibhola eliphaswayo elisheshayo. Asiliboni kwi-Sundowns. Unkompela siyamazi ukuthi uthanda ibhola eliveli defensive elidlala ngama-counter attack, asiliboni kwi-Sundowns. But sesikubonayo nje sibona nje ibhola eliyinkinga nje ngeke ngazi ukuthi ngiyalibiza ngani. Ngixolisa ukukhuluma isiZulu kodwa le ndaba iyasiqeda isingisi. Iyasiqeda isingisi. Okugcina nje esinga-emphasize ngakho. If coach kunemankomisha amabili kufanele uwawine before we win grounding. Win a dressing room. Win ama-players. Win management. Secondly, win ama-fans. If ukwazi ukuwina those two, you can win any cup. So yena ama-players wakhe akawaphethe right. Secondly, ama-fans uyawa-attack ne-media. So very downfall yakhe uyena oyigubhelayo yena ithuna lakhe yabo. So akukuningi esingakusho nge-Sundowns at this point, but I'm telling you i-Sundowns won't win. M10 ethi bayiluzile already under coach Manqoba Mngqithi. It's something that had happened before. History is repeating itself. Secondly, Manqoba Mngqithi is not going to win a league this season. I'm telling you, if he's uncontrollable ngale ndlela enza ngayo ngeke aze win i league. I'm telling you, angiphathi Nedbank vele i-Sundowns ngeke win.
Okay. For this card, thank you Zamakuhle. Malome Kutso, was it a mistake to bring Manqoba in? Especially, I know it's somebody who's inside, but they've got a very choppy recent history. Was it the right thing to appoint him, number one? And then number two, should players have a voice within teams? Eba Malome Kutso.
Yimlo ngiyakhuluma mara angimuthanga. But anyway, it's probably the best decision they made, Mr. OT. However, the proof is in the pudding, you understand? So I can only answer from a theoretical standpoint. You understand, Mr. OT? So theoretically, yes. You hiring someone who's won you 2 back-to-back titles, and people must choose. You can't have your cake and eat it, as Slomo says, Mr. OT. You can't say Manqoba lost to Pirates when he was given a chance, and then neglect to say he's also the last coach to win an MTN8 for his Sundowns. If you're gonna say he lost against Pirates, you better say he won that MTN8. You understand? You can't say it was co-coaches, nini. he's the one created for losses. Are being consistent, Makoa? Are being consistent. And another thing, to say Pirates, Sundowns, Dali ahead, go JJ Pirates. That's sirishafula lapha ku Sundowns. Iklub iziyawa iPirates ngizositshela ukuthi iPirates in kushintshwa kuvela bo Flamingberg kuvela ubani iPirates bona uzongitshela ukuthi yazi Dr Malinga man uzongitshela ukuthi style of play kwasha kwaqima. But in any event, Mr. OT, when we talk about player power, no, it's important to say if players want power, they must also take the responsibility equally, no coach. If they want equal control, no coach, then they must take equal responsibility. When the coach loses the league and he is sacked, they too must leave the team and say, we have failed. We tried to control. Now, the example of Abo John Terry, Mr. OT, is different in the sense that when Abo John Terry said they built it, they were actually there. Which is Chelsea as a big team. These Sundowns players currently, they were not there during the Genesis, Mr. OT. And when, second revolution comes in, when they started winning Ahly titles and homecoming of Pitso Mosimane, they were not there. They jumped on a team, possibly, that had won 4 back-to-back league titles. So they don't have a shout to say, we built it. What they can say is that they have failed to win the Champions League, which is what the team that built Sundowns did. You understand? So we can't really give them as much authority. However, they should be afforded respect. They should be afforded respect for at least being able to maintain, you understand? So there should be some sort of decorum when you address mokwena, tshwane. They should be maybe Diwana Paola or whatever. However, sometimes Mr. OT, I've been part of a crowd, I've been handed leadership before, and I know when someone does not want to listen to you, Mr. OT. I remember giving someone a chance to speak, Mr. OT. I was like, okay, here's a senior somebody with us. Can you say something? Just to stroke his ego. This guy stands up and says, yeah, when I was at the helm and applying my experience, I didn't need anyone to speak for me. I would just speak because I was like, what? You are never going to speak here ever again. You understand, Mr. OT? So sometimes you get people who are just loose cannons, Mr. OT, who are just extremely emotional, who can go as far as damaging their own name. I don't think anyone will take Tebogo Mokwena seriously after he laughed at a coach during a press conference, Mr. OT. You understand? So at this point, Mr. OT, Sundowns must just do what Pirates did. You know, Pirates has gone through this, Mr. OT. Pirates has gone through this when Mushin Etrugal was at the helm, and Mushin Etrugal had vested his philosophy on Tendai. It worked for a couple of games. Tendai banged in goals for Yolanda Pirates, and then these Pirates players at the time decided to they stopped passing him the ball to a point where we got almost 6x6, Mr. OT. We got a 6-1 from Supersport because players thought they knew. Watulu Irvin khoza, Mr. OT. Watulu Irvin khoza and the management. At the end of the season, Biwa Makola was let go, Opa Manyisa was let go, Tawo Rakhale was let go, Brighton Mhlongo was let go. There was only one guy who was Sala from that whole team, Mr. OT. It was Happy Chain. Everyone was let go, Mr. OT. And today, they regret that behavior.
Okay.
Sundowns players must take you warning from that.
No, Malume Kutsa, thank you so much, guys. Thank you to the first panel. We are sitting on 31,000 likes. We did 45,000 last night. Can we go to 50, guys? Just tap the screen. It is free. If you have not followed, please follow. Shout out to Ututu, Abutikuto, and Apiwe. Thank you so much for the gifts on that side. If you have not followed, please follow. Monday to Thursday, we are here at 7 p.m. And if you want to watch it back, we are that side on YouTube. The videos are there in full. You can watch any of the episodes we've had. Before I let in the next panel, all I wanted to say, honestly speaking, was I think for me, one of the things that stood out in all of this is now you're starting to see politics happen at Mamelodi Sundowns the way that it hasn't happened there like other PSL teams. So you look at the Chiefs, you look at a Pirates to a degree, you look at those we've seen these type of politics. It's just new to Sundowns. The reason why I question the appointment of Umangoba is very simple. Guys, you demoted him. We've seen Rulani and him didn't have a good relationship. We saw that Rulani has some of these players in his pocket. They love him, they play for him, he knows their families, all of the stories that you've told. So when you bring in Umangoba, you need to give him some power and time. Right? Umangoba said something in his press conference where he said when he joined Mamelodi Sundowns, the players that started the season didn't finish the season. So now the question is going to be management. If you're treating him like a caretaker coach, how are fans supposed to take him seriously? How are players supposed to take him seriously? And will you give him the power to move people on? When Pep joined Barcelona, what's the first thing he did? Ronaldinho, Deco, Eto'o. It's been great, guys, but I need you guys to go because I'm not going to be able to support. I'm not going to be able to coach you guys or control you guys the way I need control. We've seen other coaches arrive and say, guys, the big players, I'm sorry, you guys are amazing, but I'm getting rid of all of you guys because I need to start with my team. Part of why I'm asking this question also about Mamelodi Sundowns is that Umangoba is in a tough place. It's between a rock and a hard place. Why? He didn't have enough time for preseason to sit down with the players to get them playing the way he wants them to play. I always say, and I said it the other day, that Rulani, for us to get the chameleon, Rulani had 7 months of being a head coach before we saw chameleon. So that meant by the time Rulani went into his first preseason, he had already been coaching for months as sole head coach. So the transition was not that difficult. Now, Umangoba has no time to be able to make these players understand what he needs to play and deal with the politics. And number two, he doesn't have enough time to get rid of people. He doesn't have time. Guys, for you to get Williams, I think maybe I should use this example. For you to get Ronwen Williams, you had to put down Dennis Onyango. Dennis Onyango, CAF goalkeeper of the year, all of that stuff, one of the best goalkeepers on the continent. But for the purposes of playing my football, I need to go get Williams who can play the ball. I need to go this. I need to move Charlie out. Remember what Rulani did? He moved Charlie and said, hey, I don't want you near the team. I don't care where you go, but I don't need you here. Onyango maybe understood and he sat down, but he told Abo Charlie, I'm not going to be able to deal with you. I'm not going to be able to coach you the way I need to coach you. You're not going to listen to me. No harm. But anyway, we're going to go to the second panel now. Let's see, guys, 36,000. Let's try get it to 50. The aim is for 50,000. Let me see who I can let in here. Let's see, super. 014. Welcome to the show, my brother. How are you doing?
How's it?
I'm good.
WhatsApp group,
okay, no stress. You'll send me a message. I wanted to ask, I'm going to first ask you very briefly for your general thoughts, and then should Mangoba be allowed to sell players, and will it be fine if Mangoba decides halfway through the season that I want to get rid of these guys that are causing me problems? Would that be okay? And is management risking not giving him that power?
Firstly, my general thoughts, I'm going to keep them slim because I think we've answered the question, Yahore, are players with the coach? They're not, and it's very evident. I don't think we need to go far with it. But on the matter, Yahore, should Mangoba be given power? Definitely. You know, if we don't allow a coach to implement whatever they want to implement.
Sorry about that.
If we don't allow a coach to implement whatever they want to implement, it's not going to work well. You understand? It's not going to work well. And I think Umangoba, like we said, I said as well during preseason, Sundowns is not playing nice. They're losing, they're drawing. What's going on? You understand? So I think Umangoba should definitely be given a chance. You know, yes, at some point there was a treble won at Sundowns. We mustn't forget that at some point, not 10 seasons back, in a recent history, you know, I've been talking with Agent in the comments that history is easily forgotten. There was a treble won by Sundowns. Not long, Mr. OT, not long. I cried when that treble was won because I wish it was me, because I never got to experience the double treble of my team. I was a child. I didn't know what was going on. But Umangoba was there. And he's a knockout cup coach, you know? He was very successful when he was co-coaching there, and he was also very successful in that Nedbank Cup run, you know? And I see people complaining about the appointment and, you know, all these things. Guys, it's good that you're appointing someone who has been proven that he can do it in cup competitions. I think one thing we mustn't forget that the Champions League is also a cup competition. It's also a knockout competition. And if this guy has shown us that, hey, guys, in knockout competitions, when you leave me high and dry, I can win you something. Why not let him lead you forward, you know? I think we should just allow him to do his things, Honestly, the players are a bit disappointing. I did complain saying there's no way. You saw I spoke about in the quarterfinals and the first leg of the semi-final that there's no way this team is creating this many chances and there's no goals. There's no way. So yeah, it's a bit of both. What was the last question, Ghana, that you asked?
Well, no. I was just asking you about management. Does management have a responsibility to Mangoba to empower him? And does that help with dressing room dynamics?
Yes. They do have a responsibility to definitely back the coach, you know, because we are seeing a senior, Utebs is now a senior player in that team. We're seeing a senior player disrespecting the coach in public. You know, he might say, I'm not disrespecting, but it's clear, you know, it's clear. Yeah. So they have to allow Mangoba to do what needs to be done if they want to see success. You know, it's transition. Transition always has its scandals and always has the problems. But man, this is a hiccup. I'm telling you. I've seen Sundowns dominate the league for too long. This is a hiccup.
Okay. Let me go to Hansel. Hansel, welcome, my brother. How are you?
Hello, Mr. T. How are you doing?
I'm good. Hansel, 2 questions. Well, firstly, very shortly, what are your general thoughts about what we're talking about here? And then secondly, should Mangoba be allowed to move on the important players should he deem it fit? And has management done enough to make it known that, man, this is the coach, we're backing him? Or does he still have that caretaker feel to him?
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity, Mr. Uti. When I'm done talking, can you please mute for me? My mute button is not working today. I don't know why.
No problem, madam.
All right. My general thoughts are, you know, as players should be coachable. Because as a player, you are not the owner of the team. You are there. You are contracted to the team. You do not own anything in the team. You can be fired at any time, and then they must not act like they are or they have shares in the team, or else when you are just contracted for a certain period. And it's not only Mamelodi Sundowns who's watching you. As a player, you might also draw interest from other teams, whether overseas or else in other teams, right? So your behavior also will determine how far you go on your future as a player. You must be coachable. You must not try to maneuver the management. You must not try to be something that you are not. You are a player. You are not a coach, right? You must know your place as a player. All right. As much as players, senior players, this and that, if you want to have that say, at least retire and become a legend and have some other things to say when you are no longer a player, because as a player you have a responsibility to play. That's what we are there for, right? So on the second question, as a coach, if you see the players, they are not giving what you want, they're not playing the way you want them to play, or they are giving you an attitude in a certain way, then you must try and find players that will play for you. Because at the end of the day, it's your job that is on the line. If you check, there's never been a player that have been just chased in the middle of the season because they were not performing. Players get loaned, players get sold to other teams. But you can it's only Rulani, I think, who was loaned to cheaper. But it's hardly it's very difficult to find a player being loaned, a coach being loaned. You get fired. And in the PSL these days, you see a lot of teams have standards. They don't just buy coaches and they just reshuffle coaches at any time. So you must get players that will play for you.
But then Hansel, can I ask you?
That's what.
Yes. Mangoba comes out and says, oh, okay, Sundowns releases a statement tomorrow and says, Themba Zwane, Tebogo Mokwena, I don't know, Obri Mudiba, have been moved on. Isn't there a risk of what might happen in the public? Would Sundowns fans accept it? Would there not be even more trouble?
You know, in each and every team, there's a period of experiencing problems, right? At some point, those players, they were not as big as they are now. And then they came to Sundowns, they became big, right? So in the same sense, they must not become bigger than the team, than the brand of the team, right? If they are not playing for the coach, at the same time, they are sabotaging the brand of the team. You understand? So if they feel like they are bigger than the team, obviously they will have to go. In a sense, players are replaceable. There's a lot of talent in South Africa. It's just that they might not be as good as the Tebogo Mokwenas or the Themba Zwanes, but they are players that will give you what you want. You understand?
Yeah.
That's how I see it. Players mustn't be bigger than the team.
Okay. Let me go to Super. Welcome to the show. How are you? Ngimnandi Super, ngimnandi mina. Super. Firstly, what are your general thoughts, very shortly, and then secondly, has management done enough to make it known that Umangoba is the coach, is the guy, we are backing him, we are fully behind him, and should he be allowed to make those big decisions and get rid of maybe some of the louder, more important players?
I think, Sundowns, it's still the smallest out of the three big teams in South Africa. The problem is that now it's the first time they're experiencing a sustained period of success, and they don't know how to deal with it when the end of that cycle is coming. It's something that Pirates and Chiefs have been through, even though now it's an unprecedented length of time for Chiefs. So now you're finding that a lot of people are throwing their toys out of the court. There's a lot of entitlement. Somehow Sundowns thinks the league belongs to them, of which it does not. And it's a lesson that they should learn from Manchester United, because Manchester United had the same mentality. Uguti, success belongs to them. And they've been humbled consistently for a long time. So they just need to get a grip. People need to deal with their egos. And it's just time to go back to the drawing board. Abo Onyango bakhulile, even Ronwen is not so young. Abo Themba Zwane bakhulile. It's time to accept ukuthi it's nearly the end of a cycle and they need to rebuild like any other club in the world. When it comes to the management, I think the management, their mistake was firing Rulani. Even if they didn't want him anymore, they still could have kept him a bit longer. Because the way they did it, they put the club itself in a detrimental position. I believe Uktata Umangoba was the best decision they could have made at the time, because had they taken a foreign coach, the collapse would have been even more dramatic than what we are seeing. Right now, what we could be seeing are teething problems. And having a completely new coach would have meant a total collapse. The players are contributing negatively to the situation. We saw the press conference with Tebogo. He looked he looked like a high school kid next to Umangoba Lapana. Yes, Umangoba, he's trying too hard to assert himself, but you can also see the attitude from the players is unbecoming. They are getting too big for their boots. And you've mentioned before that the chameleon style of football was actually hiding their weaknesses. Now they're being exposed, and instead of taking a look in the mirror to see where they are going wrong, they are actually belittling Umangoba and making the situation worse. If they indeed are champions, if indeed they are premier athletes, those kind of things should not be showing so blatantly in the media. They should not be showing on the field. As you said earlier on, Wuti, they should be giving 110% to whatever Mangoba is saying, and the proof should be in the pudding that Mangoba is a failure, not that the players are not putting 100%. So I think management is to blame for the entire situation. Fleming Berg, he made it. He took the decision at the wrong time. They should have built up to that decision, because the man asked for 4 years, yeah, but you could have given him one more season, just to ensure that maybe you get Umangoba in the space, in the frame of mind that you are gonna take over, or give themselves an opportunity to actually go into the market and find a coach that would best transition from Rulani. So, I blame the management for this entire situation. They did not handle it well, and it actually shows Pitso Motsepe is no longer hands-on on the club.
Guys, I have a video on my channel, on my YouTube channel, where I speak about. I feel like Mamelodi Sundowns is at a crossroads right now, and there's a lot of things fighting. There's the Dr. Motsepe's one, there's the Kloppy's Sundowns. I think they're meeting and one has to win out, and they refuse to let it win out. But anyway, CJ, it's not letting me unmute you. It's saying that it sent you a request, but then it's not allowing you. So I'm gonna take you off, come back on, and then I'll just let you come in with the mic on, and we'll see if that if anything can help there. So I'm gonna go to Maketama. Maketama, welcome to the show. How are you?
Sabona, Mr. OT. Now, one of members.
Tell Maketama, very shortly, what are your general thoughts? And then secondly, has management done enough, man? This guy is our man. We're gonna back him no matter what. Even Magafunu player, he can go ahead and do that. How do you feel about that?
Mr. OT, in the end, abantu bathatha ama decisions bengekho sober. Firstly, management ithatha ama decisions ngoba iqabene, and then bebelwa nomuntu oyiwana hlakazi uRulani. uRulani ube umuntu odirect bengafihli uRulani into beyisho njengoba injalo. So that's why even amanye ama fans bengamthandi, because uRulani be straightforward, bengafihli into.
Yeah.
Yabo. So uyiwani umuntu omosha iSundowns, and mangasuka yena iSundowns izoba right. Fleming back. Umnqithi bafethu singamblame simusele sithini umnqithi wenza ini, umnqithi wenza into wrong, umnqithi wenza ini ne-attitude umnqithi uncenga umsebenzi there. And umnqithi uthatha ama decisions from uFleming back. Yena kufrontwe ngaye, but umuntu owenza yonke le nyakanyaka lapha uFleming back. Umnqithi naye lento akayenza lapha akayithandi, serious back akayithandi lento ayenzakala lapha. Yenziwa ubani uFleming back. Uyi-one uyena angaze ngibone mina uSD kuthiwa uzohlala estadium nama coach uzowanikeza ama instructions ama coach kusho coach uyacoachwa manje, yabo. ama SD ahlala le ma grandstand nama VIP, but yena simbona lapha down there uzocoach into enjani le, angaze ngibone into enjeyana mina mfethu, serious angaze ngibone le nto leyo. And mangaphuma uFleming back singaba right, singabuyela sibe iSundowns lesiyaziyo njengamanje abadlali abekho happy, hayi ngoba bengekho happy ngomnqithi, abadlali abekho happy ngoFleming back, uyena oruni team, and mangasuka lo yamuntu loya ngaba right. And mina ngiblame uHlophe kuyo yonke lento, because uHlophe bekade ezwana noRulani, futhi bekade empretend uRulani, because ukwazi ukuthatha ama decision aqhamuka from uFleming back ukuthi bafire uRulani. So otherwise guys, iSundowns is sharp, is always over right mangathiwa nje kusuka umuntu oyi-one uFleming back.
Okay. CJ, is your mute button fine now?
Yeah, it's working.
It's working.
Welcome. CJ, 2 questions. Well, firstly, very shortly, what are your general thoughts about what we're speaking about here? And secondly, I'm going to ask it to you like this. Has Mangoba been set up to fail? And has management done enough to back him, for example, especially publicly?
Okay, I'll start with the last question. Yes, I think the situation in Sundowns is a pretty much a little build up of a failing setup. I'm gonna say that. And I also feel like the management has not shown publicly that they are in support for Mangoba Ngqithi, whether the team fails or the team succeeds. I don't think they are giving him the same assurance. You remember when Pitso came to Sundowns, he was losing a lot of games, but you could see that the management is not budging in terms of his job is not questionable, or there's no question mark on his job. You could see that the Patrice is really backing up this particular coach, even when the Sundowns fans were, all 57 of them were asking him to leave. The management stood up and said, this is our man, we are going to back him. And they did absolutely everything that Pitso wanted. I strongly believe that Mangoba needs that type of treatment from the Sundowns management to demonstrate to the players, to demonstrate to the fans that this is our coach, that we are going to back him, win or lose. Otebza will know that their attitude will not get Mangoba Ngqithi fired. Instead, they are the ones that are going to leave the club if they do not perform to the satisfaction of Mangoba Ngqithi, whether they are big, whether they are small. And I think that is what is needed currently at Sundowns. And on the other note, Mangoba knows why certain players are at Sundowns, that they were just bought so that other teams may not have them. So he knows the underhand treatment and other players that are at Sundowns. So he's going to get rid of them. And I'm going to be happy because it's going to make the league more compatible. Because Temba's one is going to be playing for Chippa United, and Tebuko will go to Amazulu, because that's where they're going to go, and Rowan Williams will go to Test Galaxy, because I don't think there's another team that is going to risk huge money for these old age people. And yeah, man, I see that Osaleng went to see Gogo Uskoteni because Blom is back. Alala. It's like
Let me go to guys, we're on 54,000. Yeah, thank you so much. Let's see how far we can take it. We still have around 30 minutes of the show. Let's tap the screen and see if we can't get to 60, 70. Ovotin, I've got 2 questions also. Number one, is Mangoba handling the situation well with speaking out in public, saying the players aren't performing, trying to put up a strong face out in public? Is he handling the situation correctly, number one? And then number two, I have a conspiracy theory that Fleming is playing this one perfectly, that Fleming is letting these guys hang out to dry, and is adopting the type of style that other technical directors within the league tend to have. How do you feel about that?
Firstly, I think Mangoba's kind of beating, is he handling it right? Yeah, I think he's handling it right. You know, I mean, being honest and direct as a coach is the best thing you can do for yourself. I mean, he's telling the fans, he's telling the media that, hey, I'm here. I have a system. These people are not doing well. And I'm not going to make excuses for them. And I love that from a coach, you know. And yes, are we going to say, should a coach go back to mentioning his previous successes? No, we talk about now in football. In football, we don't care about what you did, talk about what you're doing, right? Because that's how the fans watch football. From the analysts, we do care about what happened. So from an analyst perspective, right, he's saying, guys, Mina, I won things. When I'm in control, I win. You know, even when I'm co-coaching, I win trebles. But he's doing the right thing. He's saying, hey, guys, I have systems. I have ways of winning. I know success. if you let me do it, I'll do it. So he's handling it very well. He's not shying away from the fact that there's problems, and he's telling us the problems. On the matter of the new technical director handling things in this manner. Hey, you're conspiracy, my friend. Anyway, it's fine. I think the technical director is handling things Cyril Madrid. I remember we spoke about how Sundowns can be compared to either PSG or Barca. Can only compare them to two things. And there's only two ways that they can go. They can go the PSG route or the Barca route, where they hire from within, win the leagues, contenders in Champions Leagues. Because we mustn't pretend like Real Madrid is dominating La Liga. We know La Liga is for Barca, right? So Sundowns has chosen the Barca way, right? And now they're in their Ronald Koeman stage, where now it's someone who is from within, but has a different style of play. And if he's backed, he'll win you your league as usual, but we don't know how he'll do in the Champions League. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that the technical director is using that, they're still using the Barca ideology that, you know what, we're going to take a coach, we're going to back the coach, and we're going to do our best. But their silence is speaking volumes. Their silence is really speaking volumes.
The reason why I mentioned Fleming Berg like this is to say, if I'm Fleming Berg, I'm coming into this club. It's got a history. It's got a line of coaches that have been there. They've got a style of play. They've got people inside. Wouldn't it benefit me to get rid of those guys so that I can bring in my own people? I mean, give them the rope. Maybe they fail. We get rid of them. Because Mangoba's the last one. Mangoba's the last one of that line. And if he goes, the power, I think, then shifts completely to the technical director. He's going to pick the coach. He's going to pick what happens. He's already signing players. Wouldn't it behoove him to do that? To say, yes, guys, let me just let these guys hang themselves.
Thing is, it would be risky. Things like that are very risky. Now let's go to that PSG route. When a technical director comes and says, I do what I want, there are chances that they may lose the league, like PSG did lose the league, but we can say COVID for excuses. There are chances that players will fight. There are chances that now they're going to hire a coach every season. And Sundowns don't want to lose their identity. You understand? So Fleming Berg said, you know what, fine, keep your coach, but I'll hire my players. Your coach will have to work with my players, right? I think that's why we saw Kompela come back, even though he's like, according to me, he's a terrible coach. Steve Kompela's a terrible coach. He's bad. He coached your team. You know he's bad. He's bad. He's terrible. He's good defensively.
Leave me alone.
But so like we're saying that Fleming Berg can't do that because it's the identity that that they left at the club, that hey, Tina, we hire from within. This thing of breaking our systems is not gonna work. You understand? So no man, don't let Fleming Berg do his thing. It's gonna go south. You're gonna find yourself in a PSG. Stick to a Barca. Barca's coming back. Stick to what you know.
Hansel, is Mangoba making a mistake in the way that he's speaking about specifically the players? Guti, if we're fighting in the back and I come out and I say, these people are not showing up every day in the media, is that the best way to handle this situation? And then do you think maybe Fleming Bergman is just taking them down one by one? Let me see if Hansel can unmute. I think, Hansel, you've got the same thing with Sinje. Let me do this. I'm going to let you off and I'm going to let you back on. And I think your mic will be fine. So request again, I'll let you in. Super. Same questions to you. Number one, is he handling it right publicly, especially when addressing the players? Number one. And then number two, Fleming Bergman. Maybe he's just doing what TDs in the PSL do. Coach is a scapegoat. I don't have to say anything. I let them go as I please. I sign my players that I want. The coach is expendable. I'm not. How do you feel about that?
Mangoba is a wounded tiger. He's a wounded tiger. Mangoba has had to face a lot of embarrassment in the last couple of seasons. You know, being demoted for a 34-year-old coach. And okay, being a co-coach was his, being an assistant to Pitso was his decision, but there are some few things whereby it would look that he's being undermined, and probably the same in the camp, within the Sundowns camp. So I think Umangoba is doing the right thing at the wrong time, and then as much as he is direct, he's actually being quite emotional about the situation. In a situation like this...
But can I ask you, could you say that he's overestimating the support you'll get from management? Because usually when coaches speak up... Okay.
Yes, he is overestimating that, because what I was going to say, Guti, for him to take such a stance, he should have had the backing of the management first to say, guys, things went south. We weren't expecting what happened with Rulani, so expect some turbulence, but we trust in Umangoba. He's been with us for a good number of years. We trust that he's a quality coach. Give him some time. And we are giving him our backing. And then he could have gone out in the media to say whatever he wants to say, but without making enemies with the players, because by that point, the players would have known that, okay, if management is saying they're backing Mangoba, then it is our heads that are on the chopping block, should things not go correct. So I think he should have taken an example maybe from Uribero. Uribero protected the players until he couldn't protect the players. He protected them as much as possible in the media until there came a point where he said, you know what, these boys are not playing. I've given them instructions, I've given them everything to do. I don't know what's wrong with their mentality. And after that, the players actually started to shape up again, and then we found ourselves in the Champions League and also wiping the floor with a certain yellow team. So Umangoba, he's being too emotional. Those are things Bekfanele as Bambe to himself. Be composed, be as professional as possible, be open to suggestions from his senior players. Give the impression that he's getting their buy-in if he's not really getting their buy-in, but give the players that impression to say, okay, you guys are the core of my team. I want to apply 1, 2, and 3. How do you feel about it? And also, considering the flow that Sundowns was in, there was no rush for him to implement the changes. So he kind of shooting himself in the foot. He had everything on a silver platter. He just had to keep it going for a little while longer and wait for the second pre-season, which is in the middle of the season, to start more rigorously applying his methodologies. When it comes to management, yes, I think Flemingberg is living, he's just watching the situation, letting them out to dry so he can have full control. I think it's clear. I don't think it's a conspiracy theory. I think it's the easiest way to get your opposition out of the way. Opposition, I put it in inverted commas. We all know in the workspace there's people that we get along with, there's people we don't get along with. We all know there's people that have the chairman's ear and others that not quite so. So all of the people that would have the chairman's confidence, the chairman's ear, if they are not in the club anymore, then the chairman has no real option but to trust in the TD. Of which is going to be to Sundowns' detriment anyway, because if you shine in piano, it means good is going to die off. And then we're just going to see a South African club playing European-style football, which has no real identity, which is what happened with the Kaizer Chiefs, by the way. When Stuart Baxter took over, he completely destroyed the Chiefs that we knew in favor of playing helicopter football and scoring through set pieces and tall players. And after he left, Chiefs couldn't put it back together. Up to this day, they haven't been able to put it back together.
Okay. For time's sake, let me go to Maketam. Maketam, tell me, the same two questions. Is Mangoba making a mistake with the way he's handling the situation? Or maybe he feels as though management is backing him fully. Can he change anything that he's doing now? And then number two, TD, man, is he just allowing these guys to go and do whatever they want and kill themselves? Ngobutiti, man, tinas bafaya rabutiti in South Africa. Bafaya or bafaya, I'm fans, if I can put it like that.
Hey, Mr. OT, I would rather say one word than promising a lot of promises, but fail to accomplish them. That's what my coach is doing right now. I don't know he is adapted the motivational speaking words from someone, because he have a lot of promises, but if you compare the promises and then the football that he is displaying on the pitch, it clash. And number two, we can't hide that he is emotional. The previous relationship with the previous coach, to be honest, it was not good.
Yeah.
So yonke leyo nto leyo plus pressure akabhekene nayo right now ukuthi he must keep the management happy or TD happy. Yonke leyo nto leyo ikuyena and i-change akayenzile guys. Iyona ezolimaza Sundowns, Shushan and Piano, we miss it. And manje iyafa iShushan and Piano ebesidla ngayo abantu. We are a big team because of Shushan and Piano. And Shushan and Piano is no more. We playing helicopter football now. That's from when Sundowns playing helicopter football. We are so embarrassed, guys. We are so embarrassed. And then, angazi, if Maktiwa, our fans are not allowed to fire UTD, I think Tina sizochanta Tina. Uzoqala ngathi bafethu ngeke. UTD yena uyasimoshela izinto. Ngeke sizochanta Tina sizokwazi ukuvala istadium Tina. Thiwa UTD akahambi because uyena owenza yonke lenyakanyaka bafethu. Yena yenza ngikhala ngayo. Yena wenza yonke lenyakanyaka. From the beginning, uqosha umuntu owenza kahle angaze ngibone yini esisazoyithola. Is there anything different esisazoyithola ukuthi si lose one game in the league, 29 games swathola ama points kuma 29 games and then sizohlulwa ipoint igame yokugcina last game. Ikhona into engcono esingayithola emva kalapho? No, angiboni khona into engcono. And then bese si close ukuthi sithathe even iCAF. But then i-management decide ngendlela yayo. So into elapha kwi-Sundowns bafethu inyakanyaka inkulu ihlanganisa ama-emotions. Idinga nje into serious, i-management ibuye ibe sober. It's okay now. Let us sit down and let us be sober. Let's check where we missed the point. Because now we are playing like them. That's why they are happy. That's why they are happy. Because bayabona ukuthi manje sesizodlala njengabo manje. Sizodlala njengabo. Kanti thina bese strong nge-ball position, bese strong ngokukhipha ibhola. But now konke lokho, even 5 touches awasahlangani. And then our coach uyaphromisa, uyafisa Nkosi yami ngamandla akhe, but then akwenzeki. Angeke kuze kwenzeke futhi makusenje ya because ulahla yonke into angaze ngibone mina kuthiwa uthenga umuzi bese uthi ngizoshintsha yonke into uzoshintsha ngisikhala within a day. No, ngeke kuze kwenzeke. So that's why ngibona ngathi siyasafarisha and then maqala i-league sizoba senkingeni enkulu mangabe engeke azayishintshe ayibuyisele lapha ade iqale khona ayishintshe gradually ayishintshe one by one.
Okay, for time's sake, let me go to Sinje. Sinje, I've got the same 2 questions to you.
Hello.
Is Mangoba overestimating the power that he has? And is he making the mistake that a lot of PSL coaches make when they get into these? Like, we can only speak about Chiefs, for example, where they speak a certain way, they handle players a certain way, they handle fans a certain way. Is he making a mistake there with how he's handling the situation, number one? And then number 2, is Fleming Beckman just doing what TDs in South Africa do? That, you know what, guys, leave the coach out, he's the scapegoat, let the coaches die. I'm going to run this team. And Mangoba and Rulani were the last few. We are seeing a lot of changes happening at Sundowns.
Yeah, man. Hey, I'm hearing, okay, just 1 second. What is Shushan and Piano? Is it brown envelopes and bribing officials? I'm hearing, we dominated, Susan and Piano. They almost went up to CAF win, I'm like, Aibo. Is Susan and Piano disallowing clear goals and so that we can go to the final, the semi-finals of CAF? But anyway, as you are saying, Mr. Uti, as you are saying, I think he's over. He is. Oh, we don't know what the conversation was with Mangoba and the Sundowns management when he was when he took over. I don't know. We don't know what he said to management. Whether they have he does have the backing of the management, we don't know. But the sad part is that management themselves have not come out to make such a statement. That's what that's what for me is worrying. Fleming, I think he knows, man. I mean, you can't have people that are gonna get 20 around the stadium thinking that they're gonna fire the TT. Like they can't shame. They must first know how to pay to get to the stadium and for them to own and to demonstrate that they are in full support of the team. I mean, like, if they can't afford 40 rand to come and watch, in order for them to come to the stadium, it must be free. How can they do riots and and try and get the TT to be fired if they can't even get to the stadium, to throw bottles and stuff like that, So all Fleming has to do is just to praise ticket long in the stadium and 100 rand. Yeah, it's good, they're not going to come. So they can't even they can't even throw bottles at them. But yeah, anyway.
So then CJ, the last thing I want to ask you, the one thing I want to ask.
Why am I being interrupted?
Wait, the one thing that I want to ask you very shortly, just to finish off there. Is there a problem in SA that we tend to believe, and I've asked this before, we tend to believe that coaches are the be-all and end-all of the coaches, of the teams, and that there's people in the background. Fleming, at least, man, we know his name. I've never heard him speak. I don't think we know what his voice sounds like. But in PSL in J, there's shadows in the background that speak to chairman and stuff like that. Is there an issue in South African football that we don't look that far?
Yeah. I think was it Amazulu or was it Swallows that had a problem with the coach and the TT that they went on Metro FM with Robert Mora when we actually got to see. It was also, I think, with also Celtics that we actually got to see the strength and the power of these technical directors as well. So I think we as fans are not as clued up as to see who takes what responsibility, I think we also putting the coaches on crucifying them because they are the ones that are visible to us. They are the ones that we see, they pick the team, but how does someone get into the team? And also who gets to approve what and when and how, it's quite sad that we sometimes allow the coaches to hang and then the technical directors to stay and have their hands clean. We don't know, but with Sundowns, I also feel that this particular, I also share your sentiments that they are being set up to be hanged to dry. I really, I wish that management can come out and make something out of this to assure these 57 fans of Sundowns that this is what is going to happen, and so that they may also know what to expect from their coach. And see how they move forward. It's not like Chiefs when you have to call a family meeting. You have to make sure BNPs are available, flights are available. All you have to do is speak to Nedo or this Tax Association. They will get them there, and then they can have their family meeting there. It's not like they have to book flights, buses, and all of those things. They can hitchhike. Some of them can, transport. It's not like Maninga, man. They're just 57. They can't even Simple Stadium, these ones.
Samaya,
Mr. OT,
Samaya.
have a lovely one.
You were doing so well. Bye. It's fine. Very good to answer. Same two questions. Is Mangoba making a mistake with the way that he's handling the situation? What he's saying out loud? All of the things he's been saying kind of, with the press conferences, number one. And then number two, is management letting these guys, are they hanging them out to dry? And when I say management, I mean Uflemi.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Oti. Before I continue, can I please congratulate a few things? Firstly, I would like to congratulate Ronan Williams for being nominated as one of the best goalkeepers in the Ballon d'Or, right?
Okay.
And also, I would like to congratulate you. The page is growing every day. Viewers are many. I see today the target is 70K, so I'm very happy. We are going somewhere.
Thank you.
Now, back to the business. I think Mangoba Valley is overestimating his the support from the management, from the way he's behaving and the things that he's saying in the media. It's like he seems almost as a person who's arrogant, someone who knows his positions is permanent because he's been in the team for a very long time, right? I think he's being complacent in a way that he thinks they cannot fire him just like that, like Abu Rulani and other coaches. And the management also at some point, I think as South African fans, as South African people who love football, we must also look at the team's performance and also get an audit, a performance audit to check where the teams are lacking. Because if you see now, mostly in South Africa, coaches are the ones who are left to dry, are left to hang. If a team is not performing well, they don't check the players. How are they performing? They don't check the technical directors. They don't check if they are giving them enough support in terms of finance and other things. You understand? So in football nowadays, it's so advanced that you cannot just point at a coach and say the team is not performing because of the coach. All right? Because they are going to practice every day. What are they doing there? It's not like they are sitting and then they're just going to go on the day of the game and go and play the game. During the week, there's practice, there are tactics, there are whatever that they are preparing there. When they go to the game, the players don't execute what they were doing throughout the week. So whose fault is it? Is it the coach that must go in the ground and then play for them? No. The coach has done his job. So players must do their job also. Sometimes it's the management also. The management, they might not giving proper support to the coaches, right? So that's why I think in South African football, we also need performance audit to check where the problems are coming from. Because if you keep on firing coaches, each and every coach is going to come with his philosophy, is going to come with his plan, is going to come with whatever he believes is best for him. And sometimes they try and change the identity of the team. So that's my say.
Okay. No, that's all. Thank you so much for joining me. Guys, thank you. We've gotten to 72,000. 72,000. If you have not followed,
Good
please
night,
follow.
Mr. Uti. Nyabong.
Thank you, Ansel. If you have not followed, please follow. The show is on every Monday to Thursday at 7 p.m. To close, this is what I'll say. To answer my two questions. Number one, with Mangoba. Results are king in South Africa. Sadly, in SA, the less a coach speaks, the less likely they'll be fired. So the moment you start speaking out and saying these things, you are creating divisions in some cases where you're seeing Sundowns fans coming out and saying, no, but Abu Tebza and all these people, who's Mangoba to say this, who's that. So one, when you take your laundry outside, you're inviting a lot of people who maybe don't know the full story, who maybe don't care about the full story, who have their own biases into a conversation. I said in our WhatsApp group that if you slap me behind closed doors, we could maybe speak about it and go, you know what, this is how we fix it. This is what's going to happen. You know, this is why I slapped you. Maybe we can talk it out. But the moment I go outside and you hit me, and then my friends come and say, Maru Amiega, Mara, how can you allow him to do that? Now I have to be a person who stands there and I have to decide whether I come out and look weaker by not responding, or I go gung-ho. If you think about Ten Hag and Sancho, maybe the Sancho situation could have been sorted out if it happened behind closed doors and stayed there. But the moment you let the media in and now my DMs are going off, my notifications are going off. Now people are calling me this and people are calling me this, other people are standing up for me. It becomes an issue when it goes public. And you can have the same sentiments and you can feel that way. Mara, when it goes outside, you can't control it anymore. We know what social media and our media is like in South Africa, and our journalists and all of that stuff, right? They'll take it and they'll run with it. So that's the one part that I think him speaking out is not to his advantage. If you think about the coaches that have gone out and they've been, the management seems to be behind me. I say what I want. I'm harsh. I do all that stuff. They get fired very quickly. They get fired very quickly because they realize that management may not be behind me the way that I thought management is behind me. So sometimes, especially now, and especially with the Mamelodi Sundowns, I think another point is that especially now with the Sundowns, that is divided. Everybody's saying different things. Rulani shouldn't have been fired. Mangoba was not ready. This player was done this. That player was doing this. How do you spend that much? Asina Champions League. Should Rulani have left? We want the chameleon. We don't want the chameleon. Low block, what? There's so many things being said that maybe as the leader, you should come out and go, guys, we are unified. Project unity. I might be fighting players in the back. I might be doing whatever. Come out and dance. I always say dance. Come out and say, guys, it's to be expected. We're in a transition period where we're trying to change our system, and the players are learning how I coach, well, relearning how I coach, and I'm learning them. There's going to be bumps in the road. We move on. When we move on from that press conference, we all feel good. I may be able to go and speak to these players and be honest with them, right? Later on, because it's like, I haven't fought you guys. That's number one. My second question was about management. Guys, the things that kill South African football is technical directors and sporting directors who we don't know how to hold accountable. It's very easy to hold the coach accountable because the coach is out there. We see the press conferences, we see their faces. But the example I always use, guys, the example I always use is very simple. You look at Kaizer Chiefs. Whenever Chiefs fans are angry, whenever Chiefs fans go off the rails and we're throwing things and we're doing all that stuff, Bobby's standing right there. Bobby stands in front of the police to tell the fans to calm down because we're all trying to fight Untseki. At no point do us as fans go, hi man, Yazin. Labo coach have been going in and out for 9 years. Who's making the decisions to put those coaches in? You saw a similar thing with Rulani. One of the things that people said about Rulani when it was done for him, when everything was done, was how do you spend 150 million on players and you don't play them and you don't win the Champions League? We invested so much. But I didn't hear anybody saying who is making the decisions in the background and signing off those monies? Who is scouting these players? Who is fetching these people? Apparently, why Rulani is gone is because he fought with Fleming, allegedly. The alleged story is that Rulani, having been at Sundowns for 12 years or whatever, was looking at this thing and he said, my guy, I have been here longer than you. I may understand King Shushan and piano better than you. I should be allowed to make my own decisions. Don't go and get me Esquivel and all those guys and then force me to use them. I deserve a little bit more respect than you're giving me. He put his foot down and the club made a choice. All right, the club made a choice and they chose Fleming. So I think the cautionary tale for Mamelodi Sundowns is going to be now a club that has, for the past 15 years or so, or as long as Pitso was there, for the past X amount of years, has been a bottom-up team. It's a coach who has brought in the structure, who decides on the players, and then everybody else follows. We know the stories of the different technical directors that were fired by Mamelodi Sundowns during the times that Pitso was there. It was a bottom-up team. But now, Mamelodi Sundowns under Chairman Klopi, is trying to be a top-down team. Structure of a lot of European teams. So it's a top-down thing, and Abomangoba are going to be the last ones. But the problem is in SA, when a coach gets fired, you're in Europe, when a coach gets fired, they usually go with the technical director. They usually take everybody and say, swap guys, we're going. When Pep was coming into Manchester City, they brought him his own technical director. They had worked with at Barcelona. They brought him. Everybody came in together. We start something fresh. We can't keep you there. But in South Africa, rest in peace, Prasten. Prasten was at Paris for a very long time. I'm forgetting the guy who was working with him, his name. Anyway, Abu Pobi have been holding Chiefs for how long? Kaizer Jr. has now stepped in for how long? Abo Sinkim Nisi and those type of technical directors have been at teams all throughout this time, but nobody has ever called for their heads. So I think for Sundowns, they have to look out. Floyd Mbele, thank you, Faninop. They need to watch out that they're not giving so much power to someone. Because the other question you ask about Ufleming is, can somebody who's only been in the country for 2 years know Shushan in Piano? Can you trust him to take Shushan in Piano forward? Can you trust that those decisions that are being made are the right ones, or any of those questions that we have, right? And I asked this a long time ago, not to say that he's wrong or right, because the way I feel, and if you watch the video, you'll understand it, the way I feel, Sundowns is at a crossroads, and they need to decide who's going to win now, which way are they going to go with the future. They can't keep doing these half jobs. So in closing, I think Umangoba has been given a very hard task. I think Umangoba is in between a rock and a hard place. I think he can't do anything but win. He's at that place now. He has to go and win. I think management will scapegoat him should he lose. I think the players will now realize, man, that maybe they've got a little bit more krach, a little bit more power with him. He needs to figure out how to do it. The sad part is that he's not going to be able to make the changes that he needs to make. I said earlier, a lot of the top coaches come into a team and they say, okay, right, guys, Nina, the big heads, the people who have all of the say and you have the history of the club, Hamban, I don't need you here because you're going to feel as though, same as Fleming stepping into Sundowns to give him the benefit of the doubt. You can't step into Sundowns and then have to look at Rulani and Rulani saying, hey man, I've been here for 12 years. You can't tell me what to do. I have to get rid of you. I have to, in order for my job to be easier and for me to work, right? Same with coaches. You come in, if there are players that are big-headed, that like the old coach, that feel that they have a big say, move them on. Rulani did the same. Nababo Charlie was let go quickly, right? Mid-contract, they said, go, my guy, go. We don't care where you are on match days. We don't care what you're doing. Leave. But anyway, guys, the show is on every Monday to Thursday at 7 p.m. So if you like what you've seen today and it's your first time here, click the follow button and join me during the week. And then on YouTube is where all of the things are there. The full episodes are there. You can listen to the conversations we've had. We've had some banger conversations. They're all available in full on YouTube, the Overthinking Football Show. There's a WhatsApp group where this conversation originated from. And we spoke this conversation specifically from the morning, from like 8 o'clock all the way through. We were speaking about those type of things, going back and forth. There's voice notes, there's videos, there's pictures. You can do a lot. Go onto my profile on TikTok, click on the link that's there. It will take you to a place that says YouTube membership. Click on it. It will then give you access to the WhatsApp group. Those on YouTube, if you have not subscribed, please also subscribe. You guys can just click join and you'll gain access. 81,000 likes. 81,000 likes, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you to Crazy T, Pandenom, Gustavo Dino, Velile, Lulu the Boss Lady, Ututu, Malume Kutsu Apiwe. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you guys for joining me. Thank you to those who commented. Thank you to those who were in the panels. This is a very interactive show, as you can see. Please also support my content. Like I said, I've got a couple of videos that I released weeks ago that spoke about exactly what's happening at Mamelodi Sundowns right now. So go out and check those videos. They're amazing. Guys, it's been real. I'll see you then tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Tomorrow is the members show. So if you're a member and you're in the WhatsApp group, Thursdays are when they get to run the show. They pick the topic, they speak. If you want to join on that show tomorrow, you have to become a member. Incredible people that are on that side. Guys, it's been amazing. See you tomorrow.